It's Ash from SuperVideos, back for another live stream Q&A, or what we call our Dead Talk series. As you can tell by the thumbnail, I'm hoping that we get a broader discussion and conversation here aside from Walking Dead, but if you have Walking Dead questions, I'm obviously going to answer those. I also put out a post yesterday asking if anyone has any questions that they want me to answer who may not be able to join us today or tonight. So I'll be going through some of those questions as well. As always, let me know if there's any issues with the stream, audio-wise, video-wise, anything like that, and then we'll get started. I did go live 30 minutes earlier than I was supposed to, but that's because I may not be able to, or I wasn't able to stay until the end. So I'm like, I'll just start 30 minutes earlier so that way it doesn't look like I ended it early. So we can get the most out of this stream. I know we had one stream like a couple weeks back, so it's been a while. Animated Alex, greetings to the best Walking Dead YouTuber. Thank you very much for that compliment. I appreciate it. Glad you could join us. Giuseppe De Rosa says, yo, how are you, Giuseppe? Glad you could join. Fun fact, you could say, Giuseppe's the one that actually reminded me that we haven't had a live stream in a while. So he's like, when's the next one? So credit to him for this live stream. Giuseppe, just going to take a quick shower and I'll come back. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll be around for a while here. At least like maybe 30-40 minutes. Animated Alex, what do you think of Madison's return? I think I'm 50-50 on it. I'm glad that I did like the character, so I'm glad that the character is back. I did like the actress. I'm glad that the actress is back. The only reason why I'm saying it's 50-50 is because depending on what they do, they could completely mess up. You know what I mean? And this is the thing with fear writers. You can't really trust them. Like, remember when Morgan crossed over, how excited everyone was? They completely ruined it, you know? Same with Dwight, same with Sherry. It's just that every time there's a possibility of a good story or a good thing, they manage to do the complete opposite of what everyone wants and what makes the most sense. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm 50-50 on it. If they do a good job bringing her back, integrating her into the story in the right way that makes sense, and explaining reasonably what went on, how she was gone and everything, and also if it doesn't impact the story going forward in a way where, for example, Morgan now has to leave or something like that, then I think it's a good thing. But if any of those things don't work, then, you know, it probably won't be something I'll see as a good thing long term. Initially, yeah, everyone's going to be excited, even me, to see her return, but it's just a matter of what's next after the initial Madison's back, you know? Animated Alex, imagine they bring back Madison and kill her off. LOL. Exactly. That's the exact thing or exact reason why I'll have to wait and see, because knowing the fear writers, they could do that for shock value. You know what I mean? Animated Alex, can't wait to see World Beyond characters cross over to Walking Dead. Just kidding, nobody cares. Honestly, the only two characters that I wouldn't mind if they crossed over would be Elizabeth Kublek in some way. And I know it's not possible because we know what happened to her. She's not dead, but obviously she's imprisoned. But that was the most interesting character out of everyone in World Beyond. Aside from her, probably either Felix or Dr. Bennett. Between those two. None of the kids. Honestly, none of the kids excite me enough where I'm like, I want that character to return. Nothing against the actresses or actors that play those kids as kid characters, but just not interesting characters. for me. Mario, yo, what's up? How are you? Glad you could join. Mario, Elizabeth Kublek is movie material 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It does get tricky because she is imprisoned. So, and this is if we're talking about the movie, then yes, it makes sense for her to come to the movies. But for the show, like a crossover to the show, I don't think that would work because it just, she can't be in a place where she can cross over realistically. Animated Alex, the fact that they showed Dr. Janet back implies that, Dr. Jenner back implies that that he knew more than he was originally, or that more than we originally thought. Sorry, I butchered that comment. The character, yes, it does imply that he does know, but that doesn't mean that the writers knew. You know what I mean? The writers just kind of put that in the story, and it sort of worked, but they didn't plan it all along. You know what I mean? It was something spontaneous, I think, that they said will work if they put it in World Beyond, and it did. I know a lot of people had a problem with that, or some people, because they thought that it was just to get attention, it was just for shock value, that because they saw no other way of making fans excited for the end of World Beyond, that's the best they could come up with. And I sort of agree with some of that, but I think thinking about it story-wise, it did fit. Maybe they did force it slightly to make it work for World Beyond, but story-wise, not just for World Beyond, but for the whole show, like the universe, it did sort of fit. Giuseppe Hash, did you finish The Boys? Funny thing, I was gonna go back to reacting to the rest. I reacted to all of season 1, and I think even one episode in season 2, but then I stopped watching because I was doing other reactions and things like that. Well, Walking Dead started and all of that, so I haven't watched The Boys for like, maybe it's been 3 months now. I do plan to return to it, so I'm probably gonna return to it once I not finish, but once I finish one of the 2 shows that I'm almost caught up with. So it'll The Boys reaction, the rest of it will just replace one of the shows that I'm almost done reacting or getting caught up with the reaction, which is probably gonna be either The Witcher, which I'm doing season 2 for now, I did first episode for, and Squid Game. So these are the 2 that I think I'll be able to get it done in the next month or so, at least one of them. And then the replacement for that will be The Boys. I'm kind of thinking of the best way to do the reactions so that it's what people want me to react to, but at the same time, it's not like there's a huge gap between the things that I reacted to before, you know what I mean? So I'm still trying to figure that part out. And then you said they just announced season 3 date. Yeah, I knew that they were going to announce it, and then it got pushed back a little bit. But yeah, I'll definitely have to catch up on The Boys. Mario, the fact that they ended her arc with her in prison just makes it real. You know why? She trusted CRM and now they betrayed her. Revenge is coming one way or another. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they necessarily planned for that to be her story at the beginning though, but the more it went on, I think the more that they saw that this is the most realistic way for the story to go, and for the story to connect to the movies, and for everything to kind of work together. So I don't think they planned it all along, but I do like the way they ended her story or her arc in the in the World Beyond story. Giuseppe, it still blows my mind that you don't get as many views because this is an excellent channel. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the support. We're doing the best we can. And without the support of Giuseppe and everyone else, I probably wouldn't continue like I've been so far. Animated Alex, one concern for the Rick movies I have, that they will make him a side character of his own movie. Hopefully that don't happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, we're all calling it the Rick Grimes movie. It's not the Walking Dead movie. It's the Walking Dead Rick Grimes movie. So that tells you a lot about what fans are anticipating or expecting the movie to be. Animated Alex, yes, I agree. I'm not saying they planned it. Just like I doubt that Rick getting taken by the helicopter was planned, but it's cool they bring him back. That they bring him back. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And I think you were talking about the Dr. Jenner thing with that comment. Let me just go through some of the questions that were asked on the community section, or two of them probably, and then we'll jump back to the live questions again. First question we're gonna look at comes from Ethan. He asked a bunch, so I'll answer the first one and then I'll come back to the other ones after. The first question he has is, do you want a new spin-off with brand new people and with a whole new history, which takes place in the first day of the zombie outbreak? That's a great question, and the answer is, I think everyone would love to see that, but the thing is, we all thought we're getting that with Fear, and we all saw how that turned out. So if they do it right, if they do exactly what you said, and if that's a spin-off on its own, a restricted story where it's not connected to anything necessarily, but it's just, a thing on its own, then I think it would be interesting. As long as there are interesting characters and the actual story about the initial outbreak, then I think everyone would love to see it. But if they kind of start with that a little bit and then do something completely separate or completely different, then I'm not a fan of that. Next question we're going to answer is coming from Eric Strassman. He asks, what is Virgil's storyline in 11B and what characters will he interact with? I think he is probably going to interact with Connie, maybe Judith, people like that. And I think the story they have going on for him is somehow to connect, or not connect, but fill in some of the gaps for the characters as far as what happened to Michonne. I don't think that he has any kind of purpose other than filling the gap as far as what Michonne is, or where Michonne went, that Rick is alive and all of that, and kind of filling the gap for the characters as far as for them to understand what's really going on with the universe that we all as fans know about at this point, which is the CRM and everything like that. The next, that was two questions. So I'll go back to the live questions and come back to these questions in the community section. Where did I leave it off? Yeah, Giuseppe De Rosa. Hey Ash, as long as you still enjoy doing the channel, it's definitely worth it. You'll still get a lot of loyal fans out there. Yeah, thank you, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's because I'm enjoying it and because of the support that's the reason why I'm continuing. Because if you take a look at the stats, it's not looking good, to say the least. Especially for the reactions. I mean, Walking Dead content, those do fairly well, and obviously I've talked about this before, but I can make it clickbait, or not even clickbait. I can make it very random and a video that I don't really put a lot of thought in, that gets thousands of views, but I just don't want to because I don't see any value, you know what I mean? And I don't think fans that actually care about actual content would want to see that, you know what I mean? That's one of the things that I'm definitely seeing with a lot of other Walking Dead YouTubers, and I just don't want to do that, but there are some, or the videos that I do for Walking Dead, they do okay. They do maybe 1,000 at the best, and that's okay for now. And even the videos that I started doing for The Last of Us, that's doing okay, but the reactions, definitely it's not doing good. So that's one of the things where it takes a lot of effort, because you have to watch the thing, you have to do your best to enjoy it, but at the same time make the reaction interesting, and then you have to do the editing, deal with the copyright issues that might come up and all of that, just to see the output that I see, you know what I mean? So I'm doing the best I can, and I'll continue the reactions, but the stats are definitely not looking good for the reactions. And I'm excluding Walking Dead reactions because obviously those do very well because we started the channel with Walking Dead, so that's one of the things that's doing the best on the channel in the last few months for sure. Animated Alex, you honestly deserve more attention. Thank you, I appreciate the support, man. Giuseppe, what happened to Alicia? Is she dying? Who knows? I don't know what they're gonna do with Alicia. I mean, the whole she was bit but didn't turn thing throws me off. It feels like it makes no sense, and it's again something that Fear did for shock value, but we're gonna have to wait and see what they do with her. It definitely seems like if it's realistic, she should die at some point. Unless they explain it in a very bizarre way where it just makes zero sense. And it still doesn't make sense why she hasn't turned yet. You know what I mean? After so many months after being bit. Spoiler alert, by the way. Animated Alex, yeah, I was talking about Dr. Jenner. Oh, that was the previous comment. Zach Dixon, aka Mask Ninja, do you think CRM are French or are in alliance with each other? I definitely think there's a connection. I did like 2 videos on that, and this is based on the post-credit scene of the series finale of World Beyond. So I did a video on that. I think there's definitely a connection. But I don't think the CRM are French. Maybe one of their initial bases was in France or something to that effect, but I don't think that I don't think that they're French. All of them are French, obviously. But I do think there's a connection. Animated Alex, we've only seen one running walker. Imagine a whole horde. Yeah, and honestly, that's something that I'm excited about. I know some people brought up that it's desperate and that, you know, they're just so far away from what it started or what Walking Dead started to be. But some change is good. You know what I mean? I hope they don't go overboard with it. I hope they keep it relatively fit the story and fit the universe as we know it, but I do like the idea of a variation of walkers, maybe running or faster walkers, to that something to that effect. And I do like the fact that they're explaining it in a way that is reasonable. You know, it's not like if they showed a running walker in the US, it would make no sense. Why hasn't anyone seen any more? But now that they said it's only in France, it's a little better, you know what I mean? So I hope that they explain things in ways that make sense and fit the story. Animated Alex, I like to see Eugene and Aaron, or not Aaron, wait. Alden. Oh, Alden. Eugene and Alden meet because they are both very nerdy and suck at killing walkers, LOL. Well, Eugene doesn't suck at killing walkers anymore. Oh, Elton, you're talking about from World Beyond, Elton. Yeah, Eugene and Elton are not alike. Like, initially Eugene was a lot like the kids, but at this point, Eugene is a hardened survivor. He's nowhere close to what the kids were. Animated Alex, honestly, you've come a long way from your fan-made videos. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Giuseppe, well, yeah, but it's okay, Ash. We all know Walking Dead isn't going to last forever, so it's good to branch out. Yeah, and that's exactly why I started, you know, doing more content aside from Walking Dead, and why I have so much focus on, you know, moving away from that a little bit. Because, like you said, Walking Dead's gonna end. So what's gonna be next? Even if it's not done, the main show is gonna it's gonna be done. The movie, if it comes out, it's gonna be done at some point. Like there's 3. Yes, the universe is gonna exist because it's big now, but I'm pretty sure no one wants to watch me talking about Walking Dead 24/7. Giuseppe De Rosa, bro, the Rick Grimes movies are dead. Yeah, at this point they pretty much are. I mean, it's been like 3 years now, or 2 years now. That's all I can say. Animated Alex, the Fear writers really got themselves into a corner with Alicia. Yes, they definitely did. I 100% agree with you on that. Alright, let me jump back to some of the fan questions from the community. Ethan, another question from Ethan. He asks, what do you think about Operation Cobalt, and will you make a video about it? I think, was Operation Cobalt like the napalming Los Angeles? Was that what it was? I think that is. I did one video on it where I talked about the first 60 days of Walking Dead universe, the timeline. So I did talk about it briefly there. I will be doing another first 60 days updated video based on new things that have been added to the timeline from the previous dates. So I will be doing another one which includes the Operation Cobalt again. So I will do another video on it in that regard, but nothing aside from that. Next question is from Demon King Savage. They ask, do you think in 11B Part 2 the group will find out about CRM and Rick Grimes? Part 3 maybe, and that's a maybe, but not Part 2. I think Part 2 is mostly going to focus on building the Commonwealth, like seeing the Commonwealth and the initial story of the Commonwealth from the comics, finishing the Reapers storyline, and kind of setting up for that last piece of the story, or that third part. So I doubt we're gonna see a lot about CRM and Rick Grimes connections. We might see a little bit, but not a lot. I think if we see any, it'll most likely be in the third part. And by that I mean anything that like anything substantial. Oh, right. I was just reading the comments on the live, but yeah, I have to answer another one from the community. The other community question comes from a username that has letters in the Russian alphabet, so I can't read the name. But they ask, do you think Alicia is pregnant, not bitten? No, I think she's definitely bitten. We saw it. I don't think she's pregnant. I mean, are you saying that just because she's sick? I mean, she was sick in the flashbacks, but in the current timeline, she's not as sick. So, no, I don't think there's anything to that. But she's definitely bit. We saw it. Next question, Giuseppe De Rosa, bro, just throw out a trailer already. That would probably bring a lot of hype to The Walking Dead again. Yes, it would. It definitely would. Even a poster would. But they can't even do a simple poster. Like, I think I uploaded this a couple months back. I created a poster for a Walking Dead movie, or 2 posters. And it was like a concept poster, but they can't even do a freaking poster. So I don't know. I don't even think they care anymore, honestly. Animated Alex, we technically already had running walkers in season 1. Yes, we did, but the thing is, that was because the showrunner had different ideas of what he wanted for The Walking Dead. It wasn't like those running walkers were because there's these variations of walkers that were revealed. You know what I mean? They're separate. they could explain it as that was the same, but initially when they had the running walkers in season 1, it was because the showrunner had other ideas for what he wanted for the show. And I'm talking about obviously Frank Darabont. Giuseppe, there were running walkers in season 2 in the school. In the school. Let me think. I don't remember the school or the running walkers, but it's the same thing as I said for the running walkers in season 1. It's probably not connected. They could explain it as being connected if they want, but it's just because it was different showrunner back then. I'm King Ken. I'm so happy you're doing other things. I'm really enjoying them. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Animated Alex, it's good you're staying fresh while still pleasing your old fans. And that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to do and like balance it. And that's one of the toughest things because there's always going to be someone that's unhappy. You know what I mean? Animated Alex, as much as we hate Gimple, I gotta admit, he has gone or done good things for Walking Dead universe, like make season 4 and 5 and everything up pretty well. Yeah, I mean, I give Gimple credit for season 5 and 6. Those were great seasons. Probably that was the Walking Dead at its hype, or not hype. I can't talk. At its prime, there was a lot of hype around the show at that time, and Gimple had a lot to do with it. I think when we look at what he did with Rick, the CRM, making the world bigger, the movies, all of that, yes, he's expanding, but there's no delivery. Nothing's being delivered. It's all hype and hype and hype and saying this is going to be coming up. This is coming up. Get ready for it. This, that, you know what I mean? Fans just lost interest because of that. And honestly, I think that hurt the universe. Not just the show, but the universe. Animated Alex, I don't mind Walking Dead doing new things as long as it's grounded and believable. It's okay. And that's where I'm on the same boat as you on that. That's where I stand on it. I agree with you on that 100%. Giuseppe, who's the most savage characters in the Walking Dead universe? Counting shows, comics, games, novels, if you want. Most savage characters. Most savage. I think Alpha in the comic version, the Governor in the comic version, and Negan in the comic version. And you could even throw in, let me think. Yeah, probably those three. And the head of the CRM, even though we haven't seen them, the head of the CRM seems like a savage person for what they've done. And this is based off things that we've seen in World Beyond. Animated Alex, Ash, just make the movies for us, LOL. I mean, if they ask me, I'll do that. Honestly, I have some ideas for what they could do, but probably nothing as good as an actual writer that can write. An actual writer, I'm saying. Someone who knows their stuff. Giuseppe De Rosa, the school meeting with Shane and Otis were running. Oh yeah, that one. I remember now. Yeah, I think they were running walkers too. Animated Alex, do you think it's possible Jenner survived the explosion since we didn't see him die on screen? Unlikely but possible. Yeah, I think it's very unlikely but possible, but probably not gonna like happen. They're probably not gonna go that route. I mean, Animated Alex, or it's honestly shocking that he made season 4 and 5 amazing seasons and make season 7 and 8. Like, how do you even pull that off? Exactly. How do you go from that to that? I agree. King Ken, AJ is the most savage. You would know if you finished the Walking Dead games. Oh, I haven't finished it. I might go back to it, but it's been so long at this point that I don't even know if I want to. We might do that later on when there's no more Walking Dead content. But yeah, at this point, there's a lot more that I can do other than Walking Dead. Giuseppe De Rosa, Ash could make a dollar store Rick movie. I mean, I probably won't be able to give out a high production movie, but I think I have some ideas of what a Rick Grimes movie should be about. You know what I mean? Animated Alex, you would be a better writer than anyone from Fear. Thank you, I appreciate that compliment. All right, one last question from the community, and then we'll jump back into the live questions again. Question 3 is also, or the next question is also the third question that Ethan asked. Would it be cool if Carl hadn't died and met with Alicia? How do you think they would handle with the last few zombie variants? Oh, how do you think those two could handle the new fast zombie variants? I'm gonna break that into 3 parts. The thing with Carl, I did think that they killed him off too early on the show. Even though I do think that the Carl from the show could never be the Carl from comics, but they still killed him off early. They made up for it a little bit with Judith and RJ and all of that. Do I think Alicia and Carl, I mean, they're not the same age, so if you mean that they met and they were together, it just doesn't make sense. But if you're saying like they survived together, it could be cool. I mean, the comic Carl would be a lot cooler to see with a character like Alicia than TV Carl, but I do see where you're going with that. How do I think that Alicia and Carl could handle the fast walkers? I mean, TV Carl would probably not be able to handle them. Alicia might, because she's intelligent to a point where she can use her intelligence to deal with them and not necessarily have to be strong and deal with the fast walkers. Ruth Nina Jenner was in how do you say that? I know what you mean, like burnt, right? I don't know how to say that word. Was he? I didn't see that, unless I missed it. Giuseppe De Rosa, no, Jenner definitely died. He was holding hands with Jackie during the last seconds. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very, very likely that he died. And there's probably no way they could make him come back in a reasonable way or realistic way. Username Dr. ADHD. I don't know if that's what the username is, but that's what I think it is. Anyway, do you like Game of Thrones? Haven't watched it. I get a lot of people asking me to watch and being disappointed that I haven't watched, but yeah, I haven't watched Game of Thrones. Giuseppe De Rosa, Ash, have you... Ash has been casted as Rick Grimes for the Dollar Store Rick Grimes movie. I mean, why would you say that spoiler, man? I'm just kidding. I have the Rick Grimes beard going on, so maybe I could pull off a Rick. Animated Alex, imagine alien walkers. LOL, just kidding. Animated Alex, do you think we would see more Farfels? What is that? Oh, I think you mean fertiles. Um, like we saw in 11A, right? I doubt it. Ken, the lady that died from or with Jenner, Jackie. It's probably the most forgotten or forgettable pick characters in the franchise. Yeah, probably. Animated Alex, you know your show sucks when Jadis is carrying the show. Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be honest, the actress did a phenomenal job with that character in World Beyond. I wasn't expecting that from the character to be able to have this kind of to carry the show, like you said. Um, yeah, that's a good point, though. I'm honestly not sure if they even wanted her to be in the show when they started season 1. I think it was just a byproduct of the show sucking, and they needed to do something to connect to the movies somehow, or the main show somehow. Giuseppe, I'm gonna be disappointed or absolutely disappointed if the Rick Grimes movies aren't good. Yes, me too. I think everyone would be. My camera is running out of battery, so give me 30 seconds to replace the battery and I'm gonna be back. Almost forgot to unmute myself. We're back. Giuseppe, they had like 3 years to make a good script. Yes, absolutely. They don't even have a script. They don't have a completed script. And that's the thing that annoys me the most. They don't even have a completed script. And it's been 3 years, like you said. Ken, Jadis is the best TV character. I wouldn't say that, but she's definitely the best character on World Beyond. Jermaine Trevino, I hope I pronounced that name right. Do you know when Jadis is coming back on screen? Probably in the movies. I mean, I don't think she's coming to the main show. It just wouldn't flow right. Maybe they could have her cross over to Fear in some way, but again, that's a little bit of a reach. So I think the best way for her arc to go is for her to return in the movies. Obviously, initially, it's not gonna be the Jadis from World Beyond. It's gonna be the Jadis from when we last saw her on the original show. But then she could become that Jadis from World Beyond as the 3 movies go on. Ken, well, there's a lot of stuff when making a movie, getting actors, writing a story, music, where it will be made, getting the rights to locations, contracts, so much to do, we need to give them time. But 3 years? I mean, come on. Usually movies take maybe a year to do, right? And that's filming, post-production, all of that, you know? It's been 3 years. At least you would think by now we would have some sort of a trailer, some sort of a poster, some sort of a synopsis, some sort of a description, some sort of a title for the movie, something. But we have nothing. We don't even know who's going to be on it. Just that it's going to be probably or most definitely Rick and probably Jadis. Again, most likely Jadis, but maybe she'll return in the second one or something like that. I don't know, but I'm just saying we don't even know who's going to be on there. Giuseppe, what's worse, Ash's camera lifespan or the lack of Rick Grimes movies? Definitely the lack of Rick Grimes movies. But yeah, my batteries do die a lot. I don't know why. Because I just charged, it was at 100% right before the stream. And it died in like 40 minutes or something. I don't know, like, from the time where it says the battery's low until the battery actually dies, I don't know how long that is. So maybe I should just keep it on until it just dies. So maybe I had another maybe 20-30 minutes in or it had in it, the camera battery, but I just changed it. Anyway. I'm King Ken, also COVID happened. Yes, I get that, but like, you mean for the movies, right? Yeah, I get that, but still. They knew about the movie, or they had planned it way before that, like at least a year before that. So there should have been something by now, you know what I mean? Animated Alex, they had enough time. I do agree, they definitely had way more than enough time. King Ken, not really. Most movies take up to 3 to 5 years on average. Well, you're talking about like major production movies, right? But I'm talking about like not regular, but movies that you see come every year, right? So maybe not a year, maybe 2 years, but I think 3 to 5 years is like not average. I think that's probably on the high end of how long it would take. On the low end, on the average end, I think it's like maybe 1 to 2 years. So I think to just kind of, I think they should have had something by now. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to find different ways of saying the same thing. Giuseppe, what if the Rick Grimes movies you see characters wearing masks? That would be hilarious. King Ken. Also, I feel this has something to do with Andrew. I feel like he might be a reason it's taking so long. That might be a reason why it's taking so long also. Yeah, I agree. I think he probably, not that he doesn't want to do it, but here's the thing. He's not even doing movies or anything like that. So does he really just want to take a break from acting? Is that what it is? Because other than that, it's like he's not even in a lot of movies in the last year or so. So, or just maybe 1 or 2. But like, what's the holdup? You know what I mean? That's what I really want to know. Animated Alex, I'm surprised Negan never points out how Maggie has been gone for 6 years. That would be a fair argument in his case. It wouldn't be a fair argument, but it would be something to bring up. I do agree with that. But it wouldn't be a fair argument for getting Maggie to treat him different. You know what I mean? Maggie feels the way she feels. We might agree with her sometimes. She might be, going too far sometimes. But at the end of the day, Negan knows what he did, and he's not going to try to justify what he did or use that as an argument, like the 6-year thing as an argument for saying Maggie should treat him different. Negan's perspective has always been, or it's recently been, listen, Maggie, either kill me or work with me. And I think that's a fair argument right there. The thing with Maggie, she gets Negan to help her, or she works with Negan when it's more advantageous for her, and treats him like shit in other ways or other times. And that's the problem. I think as long as both know where they're at and know that they have to work together to survive, that would be the best way forward. It's not like anyone's justifying anyone's actions. It's not like anyone's using anything as an argument against the other. It's just that for survival, they have to work together. That's the most realistic way for their story to go. Giuseppe, what if Scott Gimple called Ash to direct the Rick Grimes movies? I would happily accept that. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if Walking Dead was on Nickelodeon? Then it would suck. King Ken, also I hate the hate Maggie gets for leaving. Didn't most of the main characters or cast leave, like Michonne leaving her kids? I feel like most mothers in the apocalypse wouldn't do that. I do agree with you on that. I do see where you're coming from, and I do kind of agree. Giuseppe, am I the only one that still wants to see The Rock on The Walking Dead? I think so. I think you might be one of the only ones. I want to see The Rock as a walker that destroys someone. Like, gets on top of them and they can't get off. That would be like a cool scene to see. I don't want to see The Rock necessarily on the show as a character. It could have worked really well with Mercer, but they didn't go that route. But then again, recognizable characters on The Walking Dead, it doesn't work most of the time. It did with Negan, and it did work with some of the other characters that were well known before they joined, but I think for the most part, it's always better if it's a non-recognizable character, because you feel more connected to the character that way. Or actor, I mean. No, not recognizable actor to play the characters. Animated Alex, what if The Walking Dead was on the Cartoon Network? They might do that. Gimple did say that there's going to be different types of, or like Walking Dead content on different types of mediums and different types of ways, you know? So that could be something that they might have planned long term. Jermaine Trevino, what I want to see happen, which I hope would, fingers crossed, is that Judith, when she's older, finds Rick with help from Daryl, Maggie, and Carol. That's what I want to happen. And I think long term, that's probably what's going to happen. That's probably where the story is going to go. Everything is set up for something like that to go down, or for that arc to happen. King Ken, at least Maggie took her child instead of leaving him with a war while a war is going on. What kind of parenting is that? Well, when Maggie left, there was no war going on. I don't think. But yeah, I do agree with you that at least Maggie took her baby. You can't say the same thing with Michonne. That's for sure. King Ken, Ash, do you know who King Bach is? Yeah, wasn't he like he was a Vine personality and then he turned actor. He was also on The Walking Dead in Michonne's last episode. Is that who it is? I think it is. Or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. Animated Alex, do you think we could ever see old locations? Like the prison, Herschel's farm, Terminus, etc. in the spin-offs? Technically speaking, yes, but the thing that makes it complex or makes it weird is that those locations are locations that they completely had to change for new locations. Like, for example, where the prison was turned into the sanctuary. Things like that, you know what I mean? Like the sets. So that's what makes it a little difficult, because they would have to, I think, put more money in to build those sets again. And I don't think if they would. But I would love to see something like that at some point. With Terminus, it's different because I think that was an actual place. But some of the sets are reused, like the one I said with the prison. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if Rick Grimes was recasted as Samuel L. Jackson? Then we would probably get a lot of F-bombs on the Walking Dead show. Giuseppe, honestly, I wouldn't have been upset if they recasted Carl. I'm glad that they didn't do that, because then that would kind of it would take I don't know the best way to explain it, but you would lose your connection to the character and to the story at that point. You know what I mean? That's always one of the things where I'm like, that's the last resort. Like, if there's nothing else you can do that. You know what I mean? Animated Alex, imagine Judith, where are we at? 7:14. So we've been going for like an hour and like 15 minutes now, I think. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think we've been going for over an hour now. So we'll go for another maybe 5 minutes of rapid fire Q&A, and that'll be the end of the stream. Also, all the links to my social media pages is down below. Let's see, right there. So join me in any of those if you're on there. Where was I at? Animated Alex, imagine Judith names her son Shane. LOL. And Rick gets PTSD. That would be funny. That would be funny. I don't think that she'll do that, but that will be funny. Jermaine Trevino, the thing that scared me is the running walkers we saw in season 2 of World Beyond. Yeah, it definitely changes the game as far as the survivors are concerned and how they would want to survive. Giuseppe, what if Rick Fury recruits Rick Grimes to the Avengers? I think he'll be a cool Avenger. He'll kill all of the villains with his beard. Giuseppe, do you think Norman Reedus is actually going to be casted as Ghost Rider? I think he could play it off. I think he would make a good Ghost. Not Ghost. He would make a good, Ghost Rider. I don't know. My brain is not working anymore. Anyway, yeah, I think he would make a good Ghost Rider character. I'm seeing things. Let me see, where am I? There we go. That's why we should probably end it in the next few minutes, because I'm all over the place with answering the questions here. King Ken, I wish World Beyond was just what happened with Rick Grimes and him going back to the main show. But that's the movie. That's what the movie is about. And not necessarily the going back to the main show, but what happened with Rick at CRM. That's what the movie is. World Beyond could never have been about that, because then what's the point of the movie? Animated Alex, God have mercy on villains, souls that cross the Avengers, De Rosa, LOL. King Ken, it would have lined up so well. Oh, with the World Beyond thing again, then there would be no movie at that point. Giuseppe De Rosa, I mean, then again, Chandler Riggs was playing as Carl Grimes for such a long time, so it would be weird. Exactly, that's the thing. That's exactly the thing. Animated Alex, I think World Beyond would have been better if it focused on the CRM. Well, it did focus on the CRM. It's just that it focused on like this much of the CRM, and that this much was what everyone already anticipated it was going to be about. So it was underwhelming in that regard. And there wasn't any real sort of connection or substantial connection to the actual events of the movie. Giuseppe, World Beyond has trash characters. It has one or two or three, actually, four maybe, four good characters. I would say Elizabeth, Huck, Felix, and Jadis were probably the best World Beyond characters. And all of those just for season 2. Season 1, trash characters all around. Maybe just Elizabeth was a good character in season 1. But season 2 had more good characters and more good storylines, I would say. Not even storylines, but good payoffs. Not good setups, but good payoffs. Let's just say that. King Ken, CRM should have been... Wait, CRM should not even be... I think Andrew should have just stayed on the show. Oh, CRM should never have been a thing? Honestly, I agree. But at the same time, there would be no other real way to expand the universe. That was probably one of the best ways to expand the universe. To introduce this large organization that takes one of the characters that we started the show with. King Ken, he only had 2 more years to even play Rick. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. If he stayed like maybe 2 more years, that would have been it. He would have been on the show for the entirety. And I think that would probably have been better. But then it would have been, or it would have been different, the expansion of the universe. And maybe it wouldn't have worked as well as it might at this point. Again, it hasn't worked too well because it's just been so sloppy, the expansion of the universe. But I do see what you're saying. I do see where you're coming from. Animated Alex, I think Norman fits that part perfectly. Ghost Rider, yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Giuseppe De Rosa, World Beyond is the most shit show I've ever seen. Yeah, I think season 1 definitely. Season 1 for sure. Giuseppe, watching World Beyond is like eating reheated McDonald's fries. It tastes like shit, but you eat it anyways. Yeah, that's true. I think if they didn't say it was a 2-season series and it was going to be longer, most fans would have been, I'm done after season 1. But because it was only 2 seasons, everyone kind of, most people kind of waited. Not everyone. Most fans waited and watched season 2. King Ken, as I was saying, they should have made it into a show, not a movie. Yeah, that would have been, I mean, that would have been good, but at the same time, they needed to do a lot of things different for that to have worked. Everything they've done was set up for something other than another show. You know what I mean? But if they planned another show with CRM all along, then they could have executed it a lot differently and a lot better for it to fit and work. Let me see. We are at 7:22. Okay, maybe I'll answer all the questions up to here, and that'll be the end of the stream. Where was I? Giuseppe Rosa, what if Scarlett Johansson was cast as Judith in the future scene? Nah, that wouldn't have worked. Animated Alex, remove the kids from the show and it would be shockingly better. I kind of agree. Giuseppe Rosa, bro, how is your best character Jadis? Yeah, exactly. Giuseppe Rosa, I mean, not gonna lie, Jadis did really good. Yes, she did. Like I said, I was surprised about how well the actress did, how interesting Jadis was on World Beyond, overshadowed most other characters, but yeah, carried the show for sure. Giuseppe, but she's not good enough to carry a whole show. Jadis, I agree. She might have been strong enough of a character and good enough of a character to carry a limited series show, but not an actual show like Rick Grimes has been able to. Actress is very good though. I absolutely agree. Pollyann McIntosh, I think that's the actress. She did a phenomenal job with that character, especially in World Beyond. King Ken, because she saved Rick and she's queen. Yes, she is. Or I could see that. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I could see that. The way you put it. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if LeBron James is the final Walking Dead villain? Then he would slam dunk all the zombie heads. Animated Alex, I like how she was like Simon in Walking Dead, or how she was like Simon wanting to wipe out a whole community. Exactly. That was the parallel I think many people missed. And that's one of the things that I loved about what they did with Jadis in World Beyond. Giuseppe, I don't know yet because I haven't seen the Rick Grimes movies. I don't know what that was in connection to. Anyway, Rick Grimes movies could be either really amazing or terrible. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's in the middle. I don't think it's going to be in the middle. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be, even if it's okay for a movie, because of how long we've waited, it's going to be underwhelming. Giuseppe, will Rick have his old hair back? I think it's going to be an older Rick. I think it's not going to be the same Rick that we know. I think it's going to be an older Rick. It might be a more fragile Rick even. I did a video on that a little bit a while back, so if you're interested, go check that out. I don't know what the title was, but it had like old Rick as or an older Rick as the thumbnail, and like CRM soldiers or something like that. But in terms of whether he's gonna have his old hair back, like the long hair, I think that might be cool to see. Yeah. Giuseppe, Rick's gonna be old when he returns. Yeah, I think so too. Giuseppe, at this point, make Otis the main character of World Beyond would probably still do better than everything else. That's funny. Animated Alex, heck, even Jim would be a better protagonist than the kids. Now everyone's just coming up with different ways of saying how bad World Beyond was. Giuseppe, anyone remember that terrible villain from Fear? The one that the old lady, not the old lady, the dirty lady. Yeah, I remember her. She would probably be an interesting villain for World Beyond Season 1. To make the show even worse. Giuseppe, I forgot her name. That's how irrelevant he was. Oh, Logan? Is that who you mean? He was also bad. I think that's pretty much for the questions. Thanks everyone for joining the stream, supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next stream. I don't know when the next stream is gonna be, but I'll let you guys know a few days beforehand so you guys know that we're going live. But that's pretty much for the stream. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button. If you're not a subscriber, which I think everyone in the chat was. Anyway, if you're watching and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community and join me in any of my social media pages, which is down below and in the description. With that, I'll catch you all in the next one.